mentioned, were on the receiving end, both for double-digit grabs. They get a pick late. They win by 4. Look forward to a visit every week with Ryan Clark, who is here now. And Ryan, the Rams offense was interesting to me, man. When they were cooking, they were going. But then they bogged down for stretches, which allowed the Buccaneers to to get back in this game and tie it up. What did you make of the Rams offense, particularly when it was sharp?
Well, I thought they threw the ball way too much. I didn't think they would win if they went here, but they executed so well, and Sean McVay was much better than Todd Bowles was, but it was about the diagram. It was about the scheme. Here you're going to see everybody blocked down, and Gerald Everett come out of the other side. Watch the way that he manipulates the defense on the back end, the underneath coverage wide open with all the space to the side. Easy throw for Jared Goff. And then next we're going to see one of the biggest plays of the first half. This is actually the 3 points you can say they win the game by. You're going to get the tackle out. You're going to get number 2 wide receiver out the center, and they're all going to get to Robert Woods as he comes back for the screen. Now, Robert Woods gets out of this thing because the blocks are sealed off. He has to make a decision. Does he get out of bounds? Does he get down? Or does he try to score? Because this is late in the half. He breaks it. He actually gets tackled. They get up. They spike the ball. They get 3. Now, here's a play that shows you how great Cooper Kupp is. They're going to give him a clear route with an option route on Carlton Davis, who's their best defender. Watch him hit him with the icky wicky sticky. Gets outside, catches the ball. Devontae Adams is talking about that dude being underrated because he gets open, he's physical, and he has great hands. This was a virtuoso performance by Sean McVay, but also these wide receivers and even Jared Goff with the 2 interceptions. They had to show up big because the run game was stopped, and boy, did they.
That won't be a fun moment in film session when you got like that, I can't imagine. Now, Ryan, on the other side of this, Brady plus pressure equals what?
Pipes busted. Right? They do, they do 1 or 2 things. They make diamonds or they bust pipes. And it's been pipes busted for Tom Brady, which we aren't used to. We're used to Brady playing well under pressure. But let's think about Tom Brady throughout this season. 2 times against the New Orleans Saints under pressure. Those were losses. Against the Chicago Bears, pressured 10 times. That was also a loss where he forgot what down it was. And then in the second half, Tom Brady totally falls apart. He takes sacks. He almost gets a turnover in the end zone and 2 overthrows for interceptions. This is becoming a problem. If Tom Brady has a utopia, if Tom Brady has an oasis of time, if he has so many opportunities to throw the ball, he can utilize his skill weapons. But if you get pressure on him, he starts to see ghosts, maybe acting like Sam Darnold a little bit and throws the ball away, takes sacks. This team hasn't played well nor won any game that Tom Brady hasn't had perfect protection. And that's an issue when you think about having to play teams like the Saints going forward.
All right, Ryan, I'm going to get greedy this week. I feel like we had a bunch of really good games, and as we reach Thanksgiving, we have a sense of what we're looking at and what we're seeing. I want to get your thoughts on some teams as we head into the most important stretch of the season in just a bit, all right? All right, we move on now to some significant news on Monday. Baltimore Ravens running backs Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins tested positive for COVID-19. John Harbaugh said Monday they'll miss the Thanksgiving game against Pittsburgh on Thursday night, leaving Baltimore with Gus Edwards as its only back on the roster with any carries this season. Steelers look to remain unbeaten with the suddenly sluggish Ravens arriving in town. Pittsburgh's defense dominant all year. Baltimore, then the opposite coming off last season. Lamar and company still lead the NFL in rushing, but are second to last in passing. And the last time these teams met, Jackson had a career worst 4 turnovers. Staying in the AFC North, specifics on Joe Burrow's injury came out Monday, and it was not great. You had to imagine it would be bad. He tore the ACL and MCL and suffered other structural damage to his left knee in the game against Washington. Coach Zach Taylor said they expect Burrow to make, quote, a full recovery and be ready for the 2021 season. Now, the Burrow news is brutal, to be sure, and the time frame about that recovery is lengthy in terms of a return. But there is some hopeful news on another quarterback to share on this Monday, and we'll take any good news we can get at the moment. One of the scarier leg injuries we've seen in recent years was UCF quarterback Mackenzie Milton. He was a guest on our show last year as he rehabbed and remained optimistic that someday he'd return. UCF plays this week against South Florida in the same stadium where the injury occurred, and the Knights' starting quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, hinted that we could see a return, quote, "There are a bunch of surprises. I'd sit back and see." It would be a remarkable return considering the injury Milton suffered often results in amputation. And already this season, we've seen Alex Smith return to the field, just won a game on Sunday, the one Burrow was injured in. But Milton getting back on the field would be a victory as significant. Speaking of injury news from the NBA, we were hoping to see Clay return from a knee injury, but he suffered that Achilles injury and will miss the 2020-21 season. Steph Curry, Thompson's running mate and fellow Splash brother for 8 seasons, spoke about the injury for the first time on Monday with the undefeateds. Mark Spears.
To get that call was a gut punch for sure. A lot of tears, a lot of you don't really know what to say because a guy like that having to go through 2 pretty serious rehabs now. But at the end of the day, we have to have his back. We hope that he's around and he's part of what we're going to do this year through his rehab and staying connected with us because he can come back strong. He is that type of guy that loves the game so much that he's going to do whatever it takes to get back out there on the floor and be himself. And that's what we hope. That's all. That's the confidence that we have. And this is 2.5 years of rehab is tough for anybody. But we're hoping for the best.
Sounds like you had an emotional call with him.
With him, with Bob, Coach Kerr.
But you said there were some tears.
From my part, you feel for a guy that had worked so hard to just get back out there on the court and 2 or 3 weeks out, something like that happens. But I think at the end of the day, like I said, you got to have a big picture mentality with this one. It's easier said than done for him going through another rehab, but there's a lot of time left in his career.
Warriors missed Thompson all of last season and will once again this season. Injuries have hit them particularly hard the last couple of seasons. Since they first played together, the big three of Curry, Green, and Thompson in 2012, those Warriors won